Oh, yeah. Bless and love, my lords. Welcome to another Red Lion Punk Talk. This week we have together with us Scalynelson, one of the super punk OGs that I have met on Discord, and he's one of the first messages I was reading in there, and I got really really fascinated. So welcome to the show, Scally. Very very nice to have you, man. Aloha.
Aloha, aloha. I enjoyed the Hawaiian music. That was a good intro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I remember you told me um, the the aloha the Hawaii time zone, and I was like, yeah, let's start with this song. That would be good. It's always this always this song gives me a lot of good feelings. So listening to it was really really cool. How are you, man? Thanks so much for coming.
I love it. I love it. Thanks. Yeah, well, it's 6 a.m. for me, so I just woke up and I'm drinking my coffee. But this is when I wake up anyway, so all good. What time is it there? Like 6 p.m. or something?
For me, it's 7 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of crazy. I see some familiar faces in the audience, which is cool to see. I see we got Eclectic, we got Crash Blossom. What's up, guys? Um, Yeah, man, I was funny to hear your story. So I don't I was going to ask you. I couldn't remember when when we like first met or when you first got into punks.
Yeah, I bought around like late summer of 2020, and I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't know much, and then I was coming to the Discord, and you were typing something like, "Oh, these traits are so undervalued," and I was like, "Who are these people?" Talking about these little. And then I started going in and I was catching the bug day by day. And then I was like, oh, fuck, man, I'm addicted.
I love it. As a little research, I just pulled up my my profile on punks, and the first one I ever bought was Punk 8715, and I bought. He's kind of a really ugly, like he's got the little pedo mustache, and he's got clown eyes green and a mohawk and a sad face frown, and he's not bad looking now that I look at him. But I bought him on New Year's. It says it's New Year's Day, but it was actually New Year's Eve my time because I remember I stayed up super late. My family all went to
Yeah.
bed, and I smoked a little
But you
bit.
live in the future.
And I was like, I'd been stalking in the Discord for a few days, and I'm like, should I pay $58 for this fucking thing? And then I said, screw it. I guess I'll do it. And I bought my first punk. It's pretty hilarious. 0.44 ETH, which was $58.
When was that?
That was 2020, January 1st, the first day of 2020,
Oh, wow.
which is pretty funny.
Man. Yeah. And how did you evolve from that? Did you start collecting more? What did you think at the time when you were buying this?
Yeah, so I had been into NFTs for about 2 years at that time, a little less than 2 years. So I had been like in the space, but just mostly involved in just a couple projects, and hadn't really met a ton of people, to be honest. Like I was mainly doing this thing called MLB Champions, and there were maybe like 20 or 30 people in there that I kind of talked to regularly. And there was other stuff going on, but not much. And I didn't hear about CryptoPunks until I heard Go West on the Zima Red podcast with Andrew Steinwald. And he was talking about punks and how they were his favorite NFT at the time. And at that time, he had Danny's Seven Trait as his PFP. He owned it. And so I remember when I was listening to the podcast in my car, that picture of the Seven Trait punk was just like on my car the whole drive wherever I was going. And I kept looking at it and I kept looking at it and I was like, that thing's actually really cool looking. I like that. And then that's kind of what got me into it. And then I saw it as art. And then the first thing I kind of wanted to know is like, does anyone print these out? Does anyone print them out and frame them? And they're like, oh, you got to talk to Snowfro. He does that for people. I'm like, who's Snowfro? And sure enough, Snowfro appeared, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm working on this thing, this smart contract, where blah blah blah. You give me the punk, and I put it in my smart contract, and I send it to you." And I'm kind of thinking, okay, well, I don't really need a smart contract. I just want it printed out, but that's cool. And once I kind of realized all these people are in there doing all these different things like that, I was like, this is actually really cool. Like these people are really into these things. And yes, I guess I thought they would go up in value, but it wasn't so much that. It was more like it was just fun. You know, like everyone's in there. People flip relentlessly. It was crazy. Like the one I just told you I bought. I sold it to Pranksy. Pretty sick flip, but bought it for 58 bucks, sold it for 200. I mean, that's like a 3x, right? Over a 3x. But everyone was like buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling to each other, and it was funny because everyone used to accuse us of wash trading, and it's like we're not technically wash trading, but I guess in another way maybe we are because it was like 30 of us and we all just bought and sold to each other, but it wasn't like on purpose to pump the volume. It was just because there was no one else there, and it's fun to buy and sell stuff.
Man, that's so interesting, taking us back to ancient times. What was exactly what Snowfro was saying with that was of course pre-art blocks, and so what did anybody print any of those punks?
Yeah, I
I
printed
bet they would be worth a lot today,
well,
right?
it's funny. I have number one and number two, and I still have them, and maybe number three, and then
Oh
someone
wow.
else, I can't remember. I think Go West printed like number four. There's a contract you can look at it. It's actually called. Well, at the time he called it Art Blocks, and I actually have. Let me see if I can find the picture, and I'll try to tweet it out. But he sent you. It's really cool because you see like how much Snowfro like loved this, and it's crazy now to look back on it. Now that I think about it, but he sent me the print that was rolled up in a tube, and then on the back of it, it had an NFC chip that you could barely see, and then you could put your phone up to it, and it would pull up the EtherScan contract or the transaction that showed where it was. And he also sent this like receipt, and he came up with some logo, and it says Art Blocks with like a squiggle colors. There's no squiggle, but squiggle colors. And then you open it up, and it's got like a QR code and a little small picture of the punk. It's actually really cool. And
That's so cool,
I
man.
found it the other day or like a year ago when I was moving, and so I still have those. And yeah, definitely like kind of a collector's item.
Oh, we should write an article about those. I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know about it.
Yeah, man,
That was
I'll send you the
before I
thing.
joined, right?
Yeah, and he
That was
right around
before
that
I
time
joined.
he gave it up
Yeah.
because obviously he was starting to do other things that took up his time.
And you say on the print it has like a proto squiggle, an original idea maybe before the squiggles.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find the picture because what I remember it, and I'm pretty sure this is correct. It says art blocks, and the art blocks
Mm-hmm.
is colored in like rainbow colors, and so it
Oh
kind of looks like a
wow, man,
squiggle.
that's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, people don't realize, but like Snow was in there talking long, long time about the art blocks idea and how it will work. And like I have I was reading so much about it, and I still couldn't understand it. And yeah, then it launched, and the NFT marketplace, the NFT space wasn't like it is today. It was just a small marketplace, and yeah, we were minting squiggles to support, and they were up minting forever, yeah, for months, man.
yeah, you could just go on there and mint one.
Hard
Yeah,
to imagine today, right?
very hard to imagine. And yeah, I'm actually embarrassed, super embarrassed to say that I never even minted any, even though I could have. I
I
went and thought
know,
about it.
I know.
And I'm like, gas was like kind of high, and I remember it was like $68 for a little squiggly line. Like, I don't know about this. Like, I love Snowfro, but I don't know. Pretty funny, huh?
Yeah, well, they were not very expensive. They were like 0.03, I think. And when I had a good flip and I would make like a zero point 0.3 profit, I would go and mint like 5 to 7, I would say. I would say, okay, I got some free squiggles, support art blocks. But yeah, you didn't buy, and then people were messing with you a little bit. But at some point you did a very, very smart move, and you bought a bunch of them for pretty cheap, right?
Yeah, I bought three kind of right before they exploded. I mean, they weren't that cheap at the time. They were like 3 ETH or something. But yeah, and then I remember I tweeted about it, and the Snowfro responded to me like, "Whoa, dude, like awesome!" And then like within like literally 2 days, like the floor doubled. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. But what other art blocks projects you minted since then and you fancy?
Well, I had a Fidenza that I got basically like the day after mint, and unfortunately I sold it. I don't know. It was like one of my worst sales, honestly. Well, I mean, I held on to it for a long time, but I sold it for like 35 ETH when ETH was like 3,000, and everyone kind of shamed me, which honestly I deserved it. I like had like a panic. You know how like sometimes you wake up and you're like, all this stuff's going to zero. I gotta like make some money. You kind of panic, and for some reason I sold that. I still have the framed print though, and so I really like the print, and it's in my house. I look at it every day. So I kind of wish I still had that one. And I had a Meridian I really liked, but I ended up trading it for a squiggle, so that worked out pretty well. And then I have five squiggles. My favorite squiggle that I have is a bold, a pretty awesome like low spectrum bold squiggle, which is maybe my one definitely one of my favorite NFTs. And I have an edifice. I'm familiar with that, and I have I have quite a few other ones, but I don't have a ton of like super valuable art blocks to be honest. Besides the squiggles.
You mentioned you were in the space in 2020 already for like 2 years, so you basically entered the NFT space like 2018, right?
Yeah, it's March 2018. I remember pretty well,
Uh,
and
what was your first
'cause
mint?
my first mint was a Clayton Kershaw
Mhm.
MLB champion. It's like these little bobblehead, digital bobbleheads, and I think at the time it was kind of expensive. It was like maybe $100, and I thought I was just completely crazy for buying this thing. But it was all part of this game where you could supposedly like it was a cool idea. It never really panned out, but like you were supposed to be able to buy these guys, put them in the starting lineup, and then like a fantasy game, basically, like a
Mm,
daily fantasy. And then based on the rewards, you could get new mints. But the problem was they screwed up the thing, and so you could get like every time you played a game, you'd get like tons of new mints, and so it was kind of like CryptoKitties. Like the population just totally exploded, and they didn't have any new users. So you know what happens then? You know the price tanks, and everyone gets all
mhm.
pissed off.
Were you into CryptoKitties?
Yeah, briefly. I mean, not during not during like the Nate Alex Carlini mania time, but I
Mhm.
got in right after because I'd heard about it a little late, and then that was the very actually I take it back. That was the very first thing I ever minted was a crypto kitty. That's right, because I was looking at those
Mm.
first, and because if you typed in like I don't even think they were called NFTs, but if you typed in like digital collectible blockchain or something, it would bring up a crypto kitty. And so yeah, my actually I have kids and they were little then and they loved them and like we breeded cats for like a couple weeks. But then I realized like after 2 weeks of doing that, I had spent like $300 breeding cats. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like these things are worthless.
But it was all about the cats at the time. People were trading
Yeah,
punks for cats.
man. Yeah, it was a fun project. I understood like people I would talk to about it are like, I don't understand this at all. Like this is so stupid. I'm like, well, I don't think it's stupid. I think it's cool. It's just um, it's like a proof of concept in my mind, like it kind of proved to me like this will definitely work. It may not be this project, but this technology is really cool.
Mm. Yeah, and then the punks kept going from like under one ETH to over one ETH, and
I remember one ETH. That was a big milestone.
hmm,
That was a big milestone.
yeah, that was huge, man. But like this is around the time I came into it, and then all the attention was again on Top Shot. And then people were trading punks for Top Shot moments. Which was also crazy. And then a lot of people who got the
Uh,
punks from Top
yeah,
Shot, yeah, they made multiple X because then punks exploded to 5, it's 15, it's 25. Can't remember how high we went on that first run.
dude, I traded a punk for a top shot.
You did it as well, huh?
Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, yeah, it was with this guy. He's a cool guy. What is his name? The Greek.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Freak
yeah. He
something or
told me
other.
Greek Freak. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
told me
Greek Freak.
he got
Yeah,
his
yeah.
punk from you with VR. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it.
Yes, it's a cool punk. The problem is like I'm kind of like too nice sometimes. Like I love punks so much, and I had so many of them. I would kind of like give them away almost. Like I would totally give them to people for less than I could have gotten because I just wanted to like I don't know. I didn't see them as like worth as much as they were. You know what I mean? And then one day I was like, I got to stop. I got to stop doing this. These things are actually going up and up and up. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, it was different back then. Like when you were buying punks, like if you would gift someone a punk, it's like you made a gift for $60. It's not a big deal.
Right.
It was you would do it to like, spread the message also.
Yeah, that's what they talk about community and all this stuff, and it's such an overused term now. And like everyone's trying to like manufacture it. It's like, oh, we made this collection last week. We have a community. It's like, no, you don't. Like it takes
Yeah.
years to have a community, and it truly was an awesome community because everyone was doing their part to try to make it better, right? Like you
Hmm.
said, people would give them away. They would, everyone like you've done all the stuff you've built on top of punks, right? And everyone did like something. Some people had lots of like coding ability and were able to do all kinds of cool stuff. Other people like me just like tried to like write articles about it and just like, talk to people about it. But like everyone kind of played their part to some degree.
Yeah, man. And when I was starting Red Lion, I remember we wanted to do an article for punks, and you wrote it, man. So thank you so much for writing for us so early and putting an article in Red Lion, man. That was such an honor. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, that was cool. That was fun. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's like, everyone's willing to chip in and like do something.
Yeah, but it was different. I mean, like, there were not so much money involved, so it was more like, like everybody was there for the fun. And when doing things, imagine doing like something really cool for something that is worth $60 to $200, right? It's you are not looking for a return from it. It was more for the fun, and the more noise it made, the more fun it was. But yeah, since punks skyrocket in value, of course, these dynamics change, and I think it's natural. It's natural maturity, right?
Of course, I was joking with Von Mises the other day, and we were like reminiscing on something, and I said, "Oh, I miss those. I miss the old days." And he goes, "Yeah, me too." And then I said, "But I don't think my wallet does." And he thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. But also, we have a tendency as people to always have a nostalgia and romanticize the past a little bit more than it actually was. But
That is
still, it
true.
was,
That is very
but
true.
but it was really, really cool times, man. Um, so after the punk pump and the art blocks and the explosions of NFTs, how did you feel like looking back since 2018 when you entered the NFT space? First of all, did you expect all of that to change your life to such a degree? And how did you expect all of that to happen so fast?
So, um, no, I mean, obviously not. No way. I thought, I definitely thought I was onto something with NFTs, but I thought the time frame. I mean, the COVID, the U.S. government putting $5 trillion into the economy definitely sped things up a tad, but and so I didn't see that coming. But I thought maybe in 10 years, I think I honestly believe like in 10 years, punks might be worth $10 or $15,000 or something like that. When I was first buying them, like I had pretty strong conviction about that, but certainly nowhere near what they're actually worth now and what they went up to. And no, man, it was crazy. Like it was crazy that you would hear like John Oliver talking about the NFTs. I mean, granted, he'd be making fun of them, but still, like that was crazy. It was totally crazy. It was super fun, and I guess it was kind of validating in a way, but it was also it was just awesome. Like I couldn't even like every day like something crazy would happen, right? Like some new celebrity would be talking about it, or something else would happen, or I'd be listening to like
Yeah.
NPR podcasts and they talk about NFTs. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, the mega top.
Yeah, the mega top for sure.
And now there is a big sentiment against NFTs, and like when I'm watching YouTube videos, for example, when NFTs are mentioned, it's always like, scam, and it's like a bad thing, greater full theory and all of that,
People want it to
which is a
fail
little
so
bit
badly
sad.
because they didn't understand it. And so,
Hmm.
ooh, I just found the art blocks thing I was talking about here. I'll take some pictures of it and I'll tweet it out here. Give me a sec.
Nice, nice, nice. I want to see that one. That was so interesting, man. I wasn't aware of that at all.
I'm I'm terrible at like keeping stuff in good condition. So of course it's like creased and like I had it like in some random like pile, but now I have it. Now I have it in like a folder. It's actually super cool. Here, let me show it to you. Here, uh, so I need that. Okay, and then yeah. So there's this. He called it Art Blocks LLC, Houston, Texas. And then oh yeah, there's the other one. I have two. So I have number one and number two, which is yeah. I mean theoretically maybe worth something here. And
Oh man, that is a collector's item for sure.
so what I was talking about with the art blocks, I could have sworn maybe I made that up, but what it does have is it has this string. It has a rainbow colored string that is used to like close the envelope. So that's the thing I was thinking of with the colors. It's kind of a little bit squiggle esque.
Hmm. Right.
But yeah, man, the
Can.
what did you think about all that, the mega top and all that, like the craziness that was happening?
Oh well, it was I wasn't prepared for it. For me, it was too soon after that I entered the space. I started. I wanted to make some money and also like create a collection, create some holdings, and I wouldn't say I had enough time to do so. It felt also rushed, since because I joined the space, and then in early I think January 2020 I bought my first NFT, and by the end of the year we were semi pumping. Nifty gateways drops were like doing 5-10x same day
Mm-hmm.
after a few hours. So yeah, and then 2021 came in, and it was mania. So I barely made it in time to get a few punks in. And I wish I had kept my punks. Oh, let me see.
Did I go through?
Oh man, I've never seen this before.
Cool, huh? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and then I have
Punk
the,
print registry. Oh wow.
and then I'll add
Oh
to the tweet
man, this
the
is
frame.
excellent. Print media. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I got dogs too.
There is a thunderstorm outside, and they are very afraid of it. Jeez.
We had July 4th, and so
But
all the fireworks were going off yesterday. My dogs were freaking out as well. So
yeah, when it's New Year's here and there's a fireworks, I put them in the house and I blast classic music, so they don't hear anything. But it's so funny when you come in the house, they are sleeping and the classic music is blasting, but they don't mind. But yeah, man, that's so cool. I had no idea this existed. Do we know how many punks actually have one of those and bought those, or
so
like, what do you think?
if you scan that barcode with your phone, it'll take you
Mhm.
to the Etherscan, and then you can actually look and see how many tokens were minted. I don't know the answer.
Okay, yeah, I will go see. Imagine if someone, I don't think Mr. 703 would have minted my punk with it, but like if my punk existed with it, I would look it up. Oh man, that's so cool. And do you still have that punk?
No, I sold that one to to this girl who was super stoked to buy it, and it's funny, like people like that. Like as far as I know, let's see, does it have the number on it? Punk six. Does it say 6079? I'm gonna look it up real quick because I think she still owns it. Let's see.
6079. Yeah.
Um, is Jesse? Ooh, she sold it.
For how much?
Ooh, bad move, Jesse. Oh no, that was me. I sold it. She transferred it to. It was a bad move on me. I sold it for $2,000. She transferred it to another account. Hard to say if that's.
For 3.6
Oh
ETH,
yeah, I
she
think she
sold.
vaulted it. So good for her.
Oh, she might have.
Yeah, she did.
She
She
might
put it in her
have.
vault. So she never sold it. So I sold it to her for $2,000 on December 7th, and then she still owns it. And she told me she was never going to sell it. She's like, "This is like my favorite. Like I love this so much. I think you because I guess it probably looks like her, you know." And
Maybe we should contact her if she wants to be also in Forever Punk's book. She sounds like a match.
you should because I don't know what happened to her. I don't think she's on social media, so I have no idea what she's up to. But yeah, she seemed like a cool person. Like not, she definitely wasn't just like trying to flip.
If she was able to appreciate, CryptoPunk so early and buy one
Yeah.
and vault it, and she's a Forever Punk, she said it. I think she would be perfect for the book, for sure. What did you think about it, man? Did you like it?
Oh, I thought it was
The
really cool. Yeah, it's
commercial?
a great idea. The um, the I like how the just like the quality of it seems like it's super great quality and something you could have forever, and have people come by and look at it. And I love the idea of having your own punk on the cover and everything.
Yeah, it's every part of the concept really matters and matches, the artistic idea with punks, and I think it pays tribute in a perfect way. And the materials are not just for luxury; it's also for to keep it timeless. Like entropy is a big enemy. As you said, your punk prints there
Mm.
could be in better condition, right?
Yeah, I know. I kind of wish I had realized that that's something I probably should have kept in good condition because it's pretty freaking cool.
But that's crazy, man. She still has the punk, and you have the print for the punk. Maybe at some point she will want that.
Yeah, I talked to her about it. I asked her if she wanted it to let me know, and she said she would be interested. But I kind of don't want to sell it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it'll be worth more later.
Yeah, we will definitely going to write about this. This is such a
So
super
I
interesting
just looked
story.
up the EtherScan contract, and it says there's
Mhm.
13 holders, and there's 23 transfers. So I guess there's 13 people that have these.
Oh wow,
Pretty cool.
wow, that's so cool, man. That's so cool. We unearthed another historic
So it looks
artifact.
like Go
That's
West,
so cool.
Jimmy, um, Gin Art dot.
Jimmy has
Jimmy
one.
has
Wow.
one. Gin Art dot ETH. I don't know who that is. And then a bunch of anonymous addresses. But yeah, pretty cool. Oh, one has six. I wonder if that's Snowfro. Anyway, you can look in there and see. It's pretty interesting. I'm the second biggest holder. I have three.
Oh wow, man, that's so cool. I hope one day people look at the punk books also like that, like historic artifacts.
See, this is the kind of thing. Not
Um,
to, not to pump my own bags. Not that this is going to be worth anything, but like these are the kind of things later that end up being worth something that you can't just fucking come out on the second day of the mint and say this is historic. It's like I'm so sick of people doing that. It's like no, like something actually historical has to happen over time for it to be historical. Like
Yeah, exactly. It's not just the history; it's also the passing of time that allows all these obscure stories to come out to the surface. And like, there's something very alluring after the time has passed and the story has progressed so far further, into the future with such a huge success that like all those little obscure oddities in the past have a different meaning, which at the time you could not even fathom, right?
exactly, that's exactly my point. Yeah.
I think that's very interesting because, like, if it's not something that you would buy and you would think, oh, that's going to be worth something in the future, but these are the novelty items are actually the items that are really worth something in the future, and it's always the obscure and the super neglected that gets all the attention at the end.
Yeah. So where do you think? How do you think the next couple years are going to play out with NFTs? Everything being so grim at the moment.
Well, I talked about this also in the last one. I have been relentlessly optimistic about, like, the markets, and like the NFT adoption is constantly going up, but like the maturity of the space and the people who are here, it's we would need a lot of new people for this to advance, because the art collectors are fatigued. There's just so much art. The artists are tired. They are putting art that nobody cares. And it's very, demotivating to see. I mean, like Azuki, the other day, when people are like having trouble just getting 10 likes, so yeah, the reality right now is very grim. I think it's everybody says, "Oh, it's going to be different in the future. The NFTs will be cheap and more accessible, and ticketing and all of that." Yeah, that's all part of the industry. But for me, I would like to see the art market like being established and flourishing, and have a lot of projects that are actually have like an artistic concept and provide value and create value in the ecosystem through novelty. So that would be an ideal case for me, but I don't know. Right now it feels really grim. The numbers say that we are going up, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's bleak right now. I mean, for the first time in my, I'm in a chat with like eight or so other people, and we talk daily, and we're realistic, but we're pretty bullish at the same time. And for the first time, someone said yesterday, I think NFTs are dead. Like they're like NFTs are over. And I was like,
Hmm.
wow, like that's, I certainly don't agree with that, but like I was like, wow, that's bleak. Like it's interesting that it's like getting to that point. And but I think, it was funny when 6529 bought the Goose. What was that, like a month ago now, for $5 million or whatever it was. And I think it was the Financial Times or somebody had an article about it, and it said billionaire buys NFT for $5 million in what might be NFT's final swan song. It's like, what? And then he retweeted it. The author of the post was like somebody named Jeremy, and he retweeted it and said, "Yes, Jeremy, this was it. We're packing our bags in. Good night. It was a fun ride."
I think you bought it for like 2000 ETH at the time, right?
Something crazy. Yeah, a lot of money. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, I think it does seem like it's only a handful of really, really rich people with tons of conviction who are really supporting this market right now for art. And then the whole blur thing is interesting with the PFPs, but to be honest, I mean, PFPs are a kind of a Ponzi. Like they only really work if there's tons of new people coming in wanting them, and there's not. So,
Mhm.
I mean, obviously the price is going to fall. I don't really think it's because of blur, but blur maybe is catalyzing it a little bit.
I read an interesting tweet today. I have been debating Blair with everybody here. There, I've been listening opinions. Basically, a lot of people are saying like, okay, Blair is neutral, and like, it's just competition to OpenSea. It's not like they are responsible for your NFTs, losing all their value. And I was reading an interesting take today, and it was saying basically that people got it wrong. The NFT wars It's all about having the cheapest floor. If you have the cheapest floor and you control the floor, you
Yeah, I read
control
that
more
too.
of the market. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was saying they pumped millions of dollars with their coin just to control the form, the floors, and by extension the market. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's really true. I think they're creating volume, and if you're creating volume in a down market, it's just going to accelerate the down trend. Because think about it, like if we were in 2021, like yeah, you could be making money on losing trades just by making the Blur token, but you could also be making even more money if number go up and you're not only buying assets that are going up, but you're getting Blur points. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
it's more just the market. Like there's no one buying these things, right? So it's the same people manipulating this tiny little market, trying to create more volume and willing to take a loss because they think they're going to get more in these Blur tokens. Meanwhile, Blur token price is going down, so it seems like a pretty risky strategy. Um,
So it's also adding more sell pressure, even more sell pressure to the market.
yeah, and it's just providing liquidity. So like you know how it is. Like if you have a day where you wake up and you go, like what am I doing? These things are all so stupid. I got to sell these things. And you look and they're standing bids, even if they're low, they're standing bids. Whereas like back in the day, there were never standing bids. You had to go hustle to sell that thing, and you had to floor it, and then you waited 2 days, and then you lowered the price, and you paid gas each time, and then stuff happened. Like sometimes you just want to sell it right away, and you're willing to sell it for less if there's a bid. So Blur just creates that. Those bids are all there all the time.
That's an excellent point. I agree. Yeah, and momentum usually continues the way it's going. So if it's going
Right.
down, it continues faster going down.
But imagine Blur
Um,
in a bull market. I mean, it'd be insane. It would do the other. It would do the opposite. It would make everything go up even crazier, especially with all the lending and stuff.
that's also a good point. We haven't seen Blur in a in a bull market.
No, no, we haven't.
That's a nice observation. Yeah, let's see how the system responds with bull market dynamics. Yeah, I hope we get there again though. We will see. For now, it's uh, it's pretty bleak. Yeah. Um, in uh, Before you get into NFTs, were you into crypto, and since when?
So yeah, I got into crypto right when I got into crypto, I got into NFTs. So around the
Mm.
beginning of 2018, and
Were you into art before you got into NFTs?
honestly, not really. I mean,
Hmm.
I always liked like most people, I guess. I took an art history class in college, and I like to go to museums whenever I travel. But I'm not beyond that. Not really. No, didn't own any art.
Yeah, well, I was into art in the sense I was hanging out with artists
Hmm.
because I don't know, I fit very well. I could fit very well, but I wasn't like collecting. I wasn't seeing myself as part of the art community. And yeah, since NFTs came out, I am super addicted, and I have chatted with a lot of people like that. So it's amazing that that NFTs and crypto brought people into the art, and it's a little bit of a paradox.
Yeah, I was more into collecting. Like I've always been a bit of a collector, and that was the
Mm.
appeal of NFTs to me initially. Like baseball cards made perfect sense to me, digital baseball cards. But what I really
MLB. I think
MLB, yeah,
Satman minted the whole fucking contract. He still owns it.
Statman was a beast. Yeah, and he spent so much money
He
on those
has like
things.
4,000
Oh my God.
only MLBs.
Yeah,
So many.
I still think those might hold some value at some point. We'll see. But the what was I going to say? Oh, the thing I love the most about the art part of it is the access you get to the artist, right? Like I think a gallery is pretty intimidating, and they're pretty like they're not very polite. When you walk in there, if you don't know anything, they don't really want you in there. They just want to know if you have money and that kind of stuff. Whereas here, especially like me being in the space for a long time, like it's pretty easy for me to reach out to artists, and they usually respond. And then, so if I'm like looking on whatever site and I see some pieces I like, I can DM them and say, hey, and they'll write back and explain what it's all about, or when their next drop's going to be, invite you into their Discord if they have one. Um, and then for me that makes it so much cooler, right? And then you feel like you're kind of friends with the person, and you can kind of tell when it's genuine and when
Yeah.
people are actually. I mean, for example, he's here now. Crash Blossom is clearly someone who's like in the space for real and isn't just trying to like take people's money. And like gold that just minted out has things that happen in 10 years. So like, stuff like that is like really cool. And like I've talked to him in DMs a bit about different things. And you just don't get to do that in real life at like some gallery. If some artist is up and coming, like I wouldn't have any way of even recognizing that, or it's just completely foreign to me. Whereas in this space, it's like super comfortable and easy.
Yeah, absolute champion, man. And cheers to Crash Blossom also for collabing with us and giving us an interview the other week. Gold is super fascinating, man. And having stuff happening to the artwork, even like 20 years later, it's crazy and an incredible concept.
Yeah, it's super
Uh,
cool.
for sure one of the most hardworking artists, and he's doing an excellent job stewarding the collections and like being there every day. But coming back to your point, I think you're spot on there, man. Like the fame game has changed maybe. Like the artists used to have like more of a passive role. They couldn't engage, they make their show and then they retire until the next show, let's say. But now the people want the daily communication. It's a daily thing. And also from an art perspective, this is beautiful because people um, spend so much time with the art and the artist, and it's direct communication daily. It's not like something you buy it and then you say you put it on the wall and that's it. Basically, that was the journey of you buying art. It's something that happens daily. You get to experience the artist's journey on the first seat. So I think it's really unique. It puts it all into perspective, right?
Yeah, so I think the art market is going to be fine in the long term. I mean, I don't have any concerns about
Mm.
NFT art going away. Um, there's kind of, obviously super unrealistic expectations were built from the bull market. Like you buy something and then a month later you want to sell it for twice the price.
Yeah, the expectations are unreal, but we still do see a lot of like good efforts and good protocols and services coming out. It's just there is no, all of this is coming out based on the notion of like a user who is using the ecosystem and the projects for what they intend to put out. But basically right now the whole emphasis is on the buy and sell button. um, so it's very hard for the projects to provide that extra layer of value and education or experiences if the users are not using it. So the incentives are misaligned there a little bit, I think. But the art market, you're right. It's very resilient and it's super established. Even if it's so young, the art is still moving. Even if the PFPs and like all the NFT market is going down, artists are still selling and minting their work. Well, not as much as they used to, but I think that is an excellent sign. If you go on Super, almost all the auctions get started. Hit the reserve price.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that still creates so much access for people to be able to get their art seen by other people and get it sold. And I mean, I definitely remember, as I'm sure you do, like when I first went on Super Rare, like it was a freaking ghost town. Like nobody bought anything ever. And if they had like one sale of an ETH, in a month, that would be like a big deal.
Crazy, man, crazy. I remember during the Rarible crazy days where Rarible became a huge punk washing machine. Um, Xcopy did mint on Super Rare, and it was going for like 3 4 ETH. And I was like, maybe I should bid, but I didn't, of course, unfortunately. And yeah, man, since then these PCs went to the moon. The one out of one speak, but it was crazy because everything was so cheap. Even then, I think 4 ETH was like $800, or like, I don't know, $1,000. So it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, yeah. I remember in one weekend, I think it was the end of 2020, and I bought a Hackatal one of one for like $5,000 at 10 ETH. That's $5,000, and then I bought a Beeple edition for $5,000, like in the same weekend. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I just spent $10,000 on digital art, and I couldn't tell anyone. I was like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I had like such buyer's remorse. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Man, those Nifty Gateway drops, they were so cool because it was so early on, and they were bringing so much people, but it was so accessible. Like, I was calling my normie friends and I was like, go there, buy this, sell it, make money, get into NFTs, you know. And some of them did. A friend of mine actually bought the first one, the first Beeple that was for $1. It was the bull. He actually somehow got to mint it, and then he sold it for like, I don't know, 500 bucks, or like $1,000
Wow.
or something like that. Ah.
Well, Debussy, who's in the audience, he did the same, I think. I think he minted that one and sold it for a lot more than $500.
Hmm.
So that was like a big win for him, if I
Yeah,
remember
I think
correctly,
it
right, Deb?
reached, I don't know, 100 ETH per edition at some point for that one. That was super crazy.
It really was. It really, whenever something's that easy, it's obviously not going to last. But like, I remember when the PFP stuff was happening, we were so good at like figuring out, like, it wasn't really me, I didn't do much, but like some of my friends would just, they would show a project and you just kind of tell on Twitter, like if it was going to do well. And you would just mint. I mean, I never threw much money at them. I would maybe put in half ETH or mint 10 of them if they're 0.08 or whatever. And then sure enough, next day sell them for double or triple and like repeat. And then the next day there was some new one, and it kept happening, it kept happening, it kept happening. And then finally it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to try to lose money on one of these things. And I, I picked the worst project I could find, which is a thing called Spookies. And there's like these really
Oh,
bad, do you remember those?
I
Spookies?
minted like 30, man. I still have them. I still have them in my wallet. It's like
I
budget.
actually sold them. I actually sold mine, and I think I almost made money. Like I broke even or lost like a little bit, and I'm like, all right, I guess technically I lost money on this, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to do this anymore. But
Budge of shame. I have a lot of shame in my wallet.
oh God, we all do. Yeah, spookies were pretty bad though.
Yeah, spookies were pretty bad. And I remember when I was buying them, I was thinking, this will do well. Halloween is coming or
Yeah,
something.
Halloween. People like ghosts. It's hysterical. It'll be fine.
But yeah, these were so bad, man. But yeah, the space was, and still is, I think, really mature. Everything that was minting out had to mint out so we could move along to the secondary, you know. That was nuts. I think this is where the orientation got lost, you know, because like people could not understand the difference between punks and some other collection. It was just like, okay, one is like pixelated art, and this one is pixelated art as well. So yeah, the one is a little bit older, this is another thing. So, but it wasn't that made the punks valuable. So I think a lot of people really didn't understand the why punks were um, valuable in the first place. So like they would see it as the same, basically. I don't know. um But a lot of people, I think, were thinking like that. And as you say, every day a new collection, a new thing coming out, a new pump. It was insanity.
Check out this floor spooky. It's actually kind of nice. That one's just sitting on the floor. It's only 0.008. I mean, that's a bargain.
Let me. I will pull out mine just to check how they are doing. I'm surprised they are still. I'm surprised they are still holding their images. They're
I
still
know. I'm gonna
hosting.
see if they have any activity. Let's see. Someone bought one 3 months ago. Okay, yeah. So no, not really. But hey, pretty funny.
They don't even show us Spooky's NFT. Damn, man, this is yeah. They are awful, man. They are awful.